This is a narration by Tales of Terror. As War Master, he had to test Revelation's thinking every bit as much as Horus would challenge it in real life. If he did not... "I cannot do this," he said, straightening as he pulled his hands back from the board. "What would you give for me?" asked Revelation, once more laying his hands in his lap, his attention focused on the sigillite. "My life." "You have already given that." "My death, if you wish to be so pedantic." "What of your soul?" "You say that no such thing exists." "We are short on time. Allow me a little metaphysical shorthand. What is your soul worth to you?" "I still do not understand the question." Uncomfortable under the scrutiny of his lord, MALCADOR started to consider the board again. "I cannot play like Horus. I do not have his mind, his motivations." "Then I will assist you." Revelation reached into the game box, and his fingers reappeared holding a new piece, one never seen before. It was shaped like a jester of the most ancient days, complete with gormless expression. Real, tiny cap bells tinkled as Revelation shook it. "This is you, MALCADOR, the Fool. I have used you for millennia to suit my own purposes, and before the end I will discard you without a second thought." "I know what you're doing," said MALCADOR. "You think to make me angry, like Horus." "You exist only to further my ambitions, a callus on the toe of history, and nothing more," said Revelation, not making the slightest sign that he had even listened to what MALCADOR had said. "You are just an invisible, nondescript foundation stone in the edifice that will be my undying glory. I have lied to you from the very first moment, and all that you believe of me, of the universe and mankind's part in it, is fiction. I have manipulated you, abused you, and I will toss you away without a single shred of care. One of my legionaries has more consideration for a bolt that he fires than I do for you, MALCADOR." Swallowing hard, the regent reminded himself of what he had just said, that Revelation was trying to elicit an emotional response. And yet, when he looked into the gaze of Revelation, he saw only implacable, unflinching truth. He had never harboured dreams of glory, or even ambitions of temporal power, but MALCADOR had believed himself valuable. He had taken strength from being counselor and advisor to the greatest intellect the human species had ever created, an aid to the most gifted psychic being ever born, companion to an immortal who had lived 1,000 lifetimes. "I see that you're starting to understand." A hint of a sneer marred Revelation's expression. He gestured towards the pieces set between them. "My sons were taken from me, whispered to during transit to set dark thoughts in their minds. Temptations, lies, propaganda. Tell me, MALCADOR the Sigillite, how many times have you resisted the efforts of our enemy's laws?" The regent did not answer, for the dark gods had never attempted to sway him. They had occasionally, and very recently, sought his death, but that was not a distinction he uniquely held. A brutal, short bark of a laugh made him flinch. "Ha! You thought yourself too loyal? Your faith in me unshakable? They did not try to recruit you because you have nothing to offer them." "I have created much for you, in your name," said MALCADOR in a wavering tone, searching for clarity. "There would be no Imperium without my efforts." In my name. Never had 3 words sounded so scornful. You are a master of tax collectors and clerks. No Imperium without you? No MALCADOR without the Imperium, you mean? What justification would there be to keep you around without your countless army of bureaucrats to sustain you? Even my remembrances, poets and pick-takers contributed more to the Great Crusade than you did. He felt a tear roll down his cheek, his whole body quivering with shame. MALCADOR looked at Revelation with silent pleading, and was rewarded with a contemptuous sigh. Some call you my left hand. Revelation held up the 5 digits and wiggled them. It is true. That is all you have ever been, an extension of my will. I twitch a thought, and you act. I care nothing for the hopes and fears of my little finger, and less still for yours. MALCADOR opened his mouth, but could think of nothing to say. Do not stare at me like some docile ruminant. You said you fear failing me, but the truth is that you know that you already have. You cannot even bring yourself to hate me when I need you to. Revelation tossed the playing piece aside. It shattered against the wall. He did not even spare a glance for the discarded fragments. There was no hint of remorse in his hard stare. MALCADOR looked at the splintered pieces of the fool. Betrayal slid a hot knife in his chest. Its fire spread, enflaming his anger, and one thought burned hotter than any other. That Revelation thought he might care about any of what he had said. I have never harboured ambition or sought glory, growled the regent, his fingers moving to the King of Nothing. He thrust it directly towards the angel defending the Emperor's home squares. You seek to wound a pride that does not exist, but you think it does. And that is your shame, not mine. It is your pride that will undo us all, not mine. He turned the top card. The picture that resolved upon its surface showed a mountain of bodies with a hound at its top, muzzle red with their blood. Massacre, snapped MALCADOR.